Welcome home to Eden Love. I think we need to be more careful with our art. Do you know that your art, whether it is cooking for the family, painting, writing, singing, composing, dancing, creating theater, it's a very powerful portal. It is the most effective way to help the world is through the arts. That's why, Extinction Rebellion has been working mainly through art events that shock people, where they're all wearing blood or red clothes like this. Anyway, you know how it is, though. Sometimes the art doesn't feel healing. It feels like the artist went into a catharsis of their own. They had a lot of fun, and we're suffering through their horrible movie or their horrible music that is just disorienting, has no journey it takes us on, because it's really just a chaotic or repetitive narcissism. So, like, how do we, since we know that our art also has the power to heal us because we can use it as a catharsis for ourselves, can we just set that on fire? the, the art that we make that's just, for ourselves to cathart is a very healing thing to do, but it doesn't have to go into community. So, I want to just ask us all to please understand the power of the arts right now are needed more than anything else on the planet. Your songs, like, I woke up this morning, there was a good guitar playing in my sleep, an intricate guitar line. I heard every note. I don't even know how to play guitar, right? I woke up singing the riff. We're all connected through the arts, and the thing is, like, the apocalyptic movie that we keep making, and Hollywood keeps making, and we keep buying because we go to it, with the superheroes where there's only, two people left in the end, everybody else is dead, and it's a city of a nightmare terrain, and we keep watching that movie, paying for that movie, creating that movie of different versions of it, and here we are creating the apocalypse on Earth completely unnecessarily. Why? Because the arts have such a powerful magnetism, and they are a portal for spirit to do huge things. So it's like you call in spirit, and now you're the superhero. You have exponential empowerment. So one of the things to do is, like, we know that art, really great art, it needs to have the dynamics of different emotional nuances, from fear to grief to anger, and the good theater's got the villain, of course, and the challenge, or else it's not a story, or there's no fairy tale to take people through. But if the fairy tale just ends nowhere, if there's not really any intention for helping anybody, if it's just a big, loud, revenge fest, if we're going back over and over again to war zones and slavery and misogyny because we want to teach each other and help each other remember history, okay, but are we offering anything new, any way out, or are we just rehypnotizing ourselves to go back into it now, create it all over again? I think one of the ways that you can navigate this is that when you create a painting, say, and it's got a lot of dynamics, and maybe it's a dark painting, and there is a dragon in it, and there is some kind of vulnerability in it, and somebody could look at that painting and be like, I'm scared, man, I don't want that in my home for feng shui because I'm gonna get eaten by that dragon. But if your title of the painting, even just the title written on the back, says something like befriending the dragon, now the viewer has a sense, and even the painting itself has a sense of itself, of why I'm here and what the work is I'm doing. I'm allowing people to empower themselves by owning their dragon energy, But if we misname our things to make them cutesy, or to make them more fierce sounding, or just hip and cool, we can. I mean, there was an exhibit at the TV station here where I volunteer, and It was so sickening. Like, it was just like sort of bloody tampons glued to the canvas and all kinds of, knives through wombs. And I just really didn't feel helped. I know that the artist was sort of like cathartic and speaking. And we have these artists now who do really violent, misogynistic, and just gruesome things that tend to make a lot of money. And like and it's that whole thing where when people are making movies too, they're kind of like every 3 seconds you gotta either have violence or sexual innuendo or nobody will watch. Well, that's not really what I'm in it for. I want a good story, and I want some sex, yeah. I want some romance. I want some intensity, some violence that's like, I don't know. It's just not gruesome. It's not ridiculous. It's not gratuitous. There's a reason for it that takes me on the hero's journey. So I think we just need to be more careful. We need to realize that our art is the most powerful thing we can do, but we need to do it consciously. We need to do it with co-create with healing spirits. So that even if you're telling a very rough story, say the story of Harriet Tubman and her psychicness was done so well, because that movie, the recent one, first of all, her singing happens all through it. And Cynthia Erivo's singing is absolutely heart-moving. Like, just the sound of her voice is healing. So we hear her voice all the way through the movie. And we hear the sweet song of the goddess feminine, and then her mysticism, how she's being contacted and allowing the spirit world to guide her the whole way. Now that is a really good parable for what we need to do now, because we cannot navigate these treacherous waters anymore with our heads and with AI replacing us. We have to start connecting with our hearts and spirit world, right? So that movie was interesting because it was displaying the horrors of slavery while showing the way through, and the heroism of somebody who actually she actually saved more than, first it was 300 people, but she also she fought a battle and won back 700 people. So many amazing things about Harriet Tubman. Anyway, let's rename our art. Like if we have names that mislead people, like chaos and entropy. Okay, well, yeah. So what if you could just call it mycelia? Because my mycelia is the magic entropy that disintegrates the old and renews the forest. Can we really, let's direct our intentionality and call in which spirits are coming through your art, man. Like, there are spirits going to use your art, whether you choose to or not, because art is a portal. So if you leave the portal open with wrong titles or wrong intentions,